Your position dated today, November 15. And it's entitled, "We Reject the Proposed Experiments on Vaccination of Cattle in Kenya by the Kenya Kwanza regime." Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. I believe it's already afternoon. Yes, indeed. Last week, William RUTO announced at a public gathering the intention of the Kenya Kwanza government to vaccinate some 22 million cattle in the country. Beyond this, the intention is to vaccinate all other bovines in the same manner. This includes sheep, goats, camels, and other domestic animals. The program has been proposed for the entire country over the coming few months and is being marketed as a part of the government's environmental protection efforts. We wish to state at the very outset that the proposed vaccination program has all the markings of a sinister foreign agenda. It does not augur well for the country's pastoralist group or groups and for this country as a whole. The plan, which has the full support of international research institutions, wants to introduce gene-modifying drugs into Kenyan bovine livestock in order for them to ostensibly, quote-unquote, cease emitting methane gas into the atmosphere. Ladies and gentlemen, animals release gas into the atmosphere as a normal biological result of digesting processes. Those behind this plan claim that the animal's natural release of intestinal gas into the atmosphere as a means of relief from normal feeding and flatulence processes is hazardous to the environment. They say that biogas, which is used for a variety of residential uses around the world, is contributing to harmful climate change. As a result, our animals are expected to receive injections that prevent them from releasing digestive gas into the atmosphere indefinitely. However, people behind this plan do not carry out the same vaccination programs in their own nations, where they have considerably more animals than Kenya, therefore greater contributors to the harmful climate change, quote unquote. Indeed, we take note with alarm that these vaccinations that are developed overseas have been rejected everywhere else in the world, including their home country, the United States of America. As a people's loyal opposition, we reject these experiments in toto. Let everyone know that we will resist them to the very end. We ask our fellow Kenyans to join us in opposing the proposed vaccinations, which clearly hurt our animals and endanger our people. We have also been reliably informed on incontrovertible scientific authority that these vaccines will alter the genetic structure of our animals. After 1 or 2 generations of vaccines, up to 36 months, reproduction of new life will begin to be plagued by issues. These issues include, but are not limited to, the birth of animals with severe biological malformations as a result of genetic manipulation. There will also be the difficulty of the animal's incapacity to reproduce completely. Some of these negative side effects will eventually be passed to human populations via the eating of contaminated animal farm produce. This is completely unacceptable, and on behalf of the Kenyan people, we will not tolerate it. It is difficult to understand why the the Kenya Kwanza dictatorship alone in the world agrees to make our country a testing ground for deadly experiments. Any government's first responsibility is to protect its citizens' interests and well-being. It is unfathomable why RUTO's regime would want to do the contrary. The admission of these vaccines into Kenya is clearly irresponsible and risky. We must all stand up and oppose it. We also wish to point out that the vaccination exercise is only the harbinger of more sinister things to follow. The scheme is to eradicate farm animal production entirely. They will end production of beef and other bovine meats as we have traditionally known them in the country. The proprietors of these projects seek to replace farm foods with industrially generated synthetic meats. The negative consequences are twofold. The first issue is the deterioration of livelihoods in pastoralist communities. The second is, of course, human exposure to unusual industrial meats, the ramifications of which have yet to be completely investigated. Essentially, these are side effects. We are calling Kenyans to action by our presence today at this press conference. We urge you to oppose this nefarious act by this dangerous and unpopular regime. Pastoralists and other livestock owners have a responsibility to preserve their animals and livelihoods. Do not allow anyone to get near your animal under pretense of vaccination. Our food sovereignty, and that's important, our food sovereignty and security are not subject to compromise. Our animals and people's health are equally important. Every Kenyan, therefore, has a responsibility to aggressively oppose this cruel goal. We ask all Kenyans to remain very vigilant. Do not allow any agent or official of the RUTO regime to come anywhere near Kenyan cattle with these vaccines. There will be no forced vaccination of animals in Kenya. We all remember stories of anthrax. If you're coming to vaccinate against anthrax and know the things we all know. We will resist by all constitutionally protected and guaranteed means. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, we commend our Catholic bishops for calling out this rogue government on its unethical dealings with the people of Kenya that are corroding the basic core values that we cherish as a Kenyan people. Now, because of this genetically modified approach, you can never plant the same seeds twice. Yeah, you plant once and you have to wait. And we went to court. We instructed our learned friend, Paul Mwangi, to go to court of that GMO thing. The course last few days, I think, took a negative decision. We have instructed Paul Mwangi again to go on appeal, because we must keep ourselves engaged on the welfare of our country. With the complications of chaff and shift. Yeah, sha and shift. Shisha, as Babayo calls them. Shisha. Yeah. Where are we going to get all these people? People with compromised immunity and things. But while we're at it, we want to thank the good Lord for restoring the health of our brother here, Honorable Karima. He's here. I think you should really come and be seen, because he has come to invite us to attend an event at Ken on the 8th of next month. This gentleman has just come from treatment in India. And India has become now a health tourism destination. Instead of our people now benefiting, and this is the way we should look forward and create tourism around medicine. But instead, we are dispatching our people all over, mainly to India. The story of Mheshimiwa Karima is amazing. People have written him off, but he's back. He received bone marrow transplant in India, and he's looking so well. We can do better. But with this regime, I have absolutely no idea what is happening. Instead, they are abusing bishops. they are actually literally abusing bishops. Because if you also don't respect our spiritual fathers, where are you going to get blessings from? I want to end there, and if there's any question, I know my colleagues wanting to add any comment. By the way, it was Jeremiah Kioni who actually first pointed out this thing to us. He kept on talking about it. He said, what is Jeremiah talking about? Now we've done research, we have looked at this thing in depth, and what we have just given you is of vital importance to the present generation and the generations to come. Kama hakuna swali, tunawachia tu hapo. Is a story so heavy that you're still digesting? Maybe you go a meeting also. You know, biogas is actually also produced. I remember I went to a prison in Embu, and they also do biogas. They do biogas. So maybe they're going to vaccinate you as well, not just the cattle. So, Ashkuru-san, I think that's it.